this Bhagavatam class. So while we discuss every week and every Friday one chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, we want that all of you should develop a habit of studying Srimad Bhagavatam every day at your home. If you are doing it on a regular basis, then please continue that. But in a certain way, we want to help you out with reading Srimad Bhagavatam with a certain way. We have a self-study course on Srimad Bhagavatam, which is online. We say available on. You can download that, and it requests you to read half an hour of Srimad Bhagavatam every day in a certain way. So you can follow that. And the other technique, if you have more time, then we'll request that you within the upcoming 6 days you read the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this will with the help of the purports. So let's say if there are 34 verses in the next chapter, you can divide those 34 verses by 6, and then you'll get 4 or 5 verses per day to read. So that's what you have to read with purports every day. So this will help you with reading purports and developing some taste for Srimad Bhagavatam. So please keep your Srimad Bhagavatam with you, especially the first canto, first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, because we are going to discuss this chapter today. So let us begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayat Madirayat. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shlokir. Bhaktira Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatharanam Paramanandamadamam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyada Deshadarane. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll request all the devotees to please mute their microphones so that it doesn't disturb us during the class. So we are going to summarize the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. The first 3 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the first verse, Janmadiyasya Yatan Vayaditaratas Charteshu Vigyaswarat Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Suraya Tejo Vari Mrdam Yatha Vinimaya Yatra Surgam Risham Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam Satyam Param Dhimay. So there are 3 verses. So these are written by Srila Vedavyas. And Vedavyas is offering his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedavyas, he understands that the cause of all the causes is Lord Shri Krishna, and he offers his respectful pranams to the Supreme Lord, and he's helping us understand that this Lord Shri Krishna has imparted the transcendental knowledge to Lord Brahma from within his heart. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye. And this Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is very difficult to understand about his name, his fame, his past. It's very difficult to understand because of this material world. This Maya has created an illusion. It's very difficult to understand this, but we have to understand it from the proper source. Like Brahmaji has understood Lordship, understood this transcendental knowledge from Sri Krishna. Similarly, we also have to understand this Srimad Bhagavatam from a bona fide representative of the Lord. And Vedavyasi is explaining in this verse that only because of him, that is Lord Shri Krishna, that this material universes, they temporarily manifest, and by the reactions of these three modes of material nature, they appear factual, although they are not real. So Supreme Lord is not an easy subject matter to understand. By the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he had made us things very easy. He has translated Srimad Bhagavatam into English, and he has made us understand. That's why we feel that this is very easy, but it is not that easy as it was in the previous ages. So this work, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu calls it a spotless Puran. And the history of the Srimad Bhagavatam is also very glorious. It is compiled by who? It is compiled by Vyasadeva. And in his maturity, Vedavyas, he compiled various literatures. He compiled 4 Vedas, he compiled Vedanta Sutras, he compiled Puranas, he compiled Mahabharata. But he was not satisfied within his heart. Why he was not satisfied? Because he did not elaborately glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Narad Muni, he appeared before him and he advised him to write a book which has the transcendental activities of Lord Shri Krishna. So these transcendental activities are described especially in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the substance. This is considered as a substance. And in order to teach that very substance, we understand that substance, the 10th canto, we need to proceed from the 1st canto to the 9th canto and then to the 10th canto. There are many Mayavadis who argue that Srimad Bhagavatam was not compiled by Vyasadeva. They say that Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled by somebody called as Vopadev. And in order to refute such meaningless arguments, Sridhar Swami, who is the original commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam, he quotes and gives references and says that Srimad Bhagavatam is been mentioned in various oldest Puranas. Now, in Matsya Puran, it is said that the first, in the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam, Matsya Puran says that Srimad Bhagavatam, whose first verse is the Gayatri mantra itself, and in which there is a history of Vritrasur. And when such Srimad Bhagavatam is been given as a gift, then one can achieve highest perfection. So this is a reference given in Srimad Bhagavatam in Matsya Puran. So like that, there are explanations in Skanda Puran, Padma Puran. In Padma Puran, there is a reference where it is said that Gautam Rishi, when he was explaining the philosophy of Krishna conscience to Ambrish Maharaj, at that time he advised that one should carefully read Srimad Bhagavatam if one has to attain liberation from this material bondage. If we want to become an associate of the Supreme Lord, you need to understand that we are in this material world. And if you want to become an associate of the Supreme Lord in the spiritual world, then how to attain that? It is very easy with the help of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very easy. Srimad Bhagavatam will help us absorb in Lord's activities, forms and pastimes, and it will finish our material bondage. So in this way, Srimad Bhagavatam is been glorified in various Puranas. And within the last 500 years, that is after Lord Chaitanya, many scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanacharya Thakur, Vallabhacharya, and many other distinguished scholars have written elaborate commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. And a serious student who wants to understand this transcendental messages, one should read those commentaries as well. And Srila Prabhupada has given us the essence of all these acharyas in his commentaries. So one should very carefully read this Srila Prabhupada's purpose. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, what does it do? This Srimad Bhagavatam elevates a devotee gradually the highest perfection of transcendence. It will help a person to transcend the modes of material nature. It's very difficult to control lust, greed, anger. It is very difficult to conquer these 3 modes of material nature. But when we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it will be very, very easy. Life will be very easy. Srimad Bhagavatam will give us strength. We won't even realize that when we have we have come out from all our bad habits, and will be situated in trance. We gradually, after regularly hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or reading Srimad Bhagavatam, one will develop so much taste for hearing for Lord Shri Krishna and for attaining him, and one will develop some love for Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam plays a very important role. Now, this in the second verse it says that Srimad Bhagavatam, Veda Vyas is giving a warning. What is he saying? Dharma projita kaitava. Projita kaitava means he's completely rejecting. What is he rejecting? Kaitava dharma. Kaitava means one which gives us fruitive results which are related to this material world. So Srimad Bhagavatam completely rejects it. And what does it talk about? Srimad Bhagavatam talks about Krishna Prem. Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmat saranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayan mudanam Srimad Bhagavate mahamuni krute kimva pararishvaraha sadyo hridaya varudyatra krutivi sushrubhistakshanath. And one who develops a desire, one who develops a desire to take shelter of this beautiful Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, by the culture of this knowledge, will be established within the heart of that person, simply by developing a desire. So, this Srimad Bhagavatam is compiled by Veda Vyas in his maturity, and it is sufficient for God realization. We need to understand this. Less fortunate persons, they're not at all interested in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. The process is very simple. What is process? How? Simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Application of Srimad Bhagavatam is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj Parikshit, he attained perfection by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we go to a doctor, I give this example very often. When we go to a doctor and what do? We explain our problems to a doctor. And then the doctor prescribes us medicines. But when we ask him, "Oh, dear doctor, what is the application? How should I apply these medicines in my life?" The doctor will say, "Eat it." So, application of medicine, that we have to eat it. Similarly, the application of Srimad Bhagavatam is hearing. But unfortunate people, they don't have enough time for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. They have time for ideal social and political conversation. They want to know what this political leader has said, what this Bollywood star has said, what this person has said. So there are so many conversations we are interested in, but we're not interested in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that intelligent people, they invest their time in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Then the third verse, Veda Vyasji is saying that Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam shukamukha drava sanyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavaka. He's saying that, oh expert and thoughtful men. Veda Vyas knows that people in this age of Kali are very degraded. Now Srimad Bhagavatam has come in this world, especially for the people of Kali-yuga. So the Veda Vyas, although he knows that people are less intelligent, but he's saying that, oh, expert and thoughtful men. Amongst them, those who are expert, those who are thoughtful, relish Srimad Bhagavatam. Veda Vyas is saying. And he's saying that why? Because this is a mature fruit of the desire tree of Vedic literature. You need to understand why Srimad Bhagavatam is called the fruit of the Vedic literature. Because there are three examples it's given in the Shastra. Just like there is a fluid, vital fluid, which is there in the tree. But if you want to experience that rasa, we can't experience in the branch. If you try to eat a branch, we'll feel it bitter. If you try to eat a leaf of that tree, we'll get bitterness. But if you try to eat the fruit of that tree, then we can taste that rasa. So Srimad Bhagavatam is compared to that fruit of that Vedic tree. Similarly, sugar cane. The sugar is there in the sugar cane, but we need to extract that. So, and also there is one more example given in the scripture that ghee is there in the milk, but we need to extract that. So these are the three examples given for in Srimad Bhagavatam about how Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of the Vedic scriptures. And it is emanating from the lips of whom? Shukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful. Why? Because it is coming from Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami is an associate of the Lord. So we are hearing, when we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we are actually hearing from Shukadeva Goswami. You need to understand that this Srimad Bhagavatam is not a dead literature. Srimad Bhagavatam is a live literature because it is Krishna himself. And all these personalities in the Srimad Bhagavatam, they are alive. So that's why Vedas is telling us that it is emanating from the lips of Shukadeva Goswami. That's why this fruit, this Srimad Bhagavatam, has become even more tasteful. So when we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we are actually associating with Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami is speaking to us. So this we need to understand. So Srimad Bhagavatam must be received from the right source. It was brought from the spiritual world by Sri Narad Muni and given to his disciple Vedavyas. And later, Srila Vedavyas gave it to Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami gave it to Maharaj Parikshit, and in the 7 days. So Shukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul. Here Vedavyas is saying, we need to understand, he's saying Nigama Kalpataragala Shukamukhat. We are fortunate that we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami was a liberated soul right from his birth. When Shukadeva Goswami was in the womb of his mother, at that time, he refused to come out. Shukadeva Goswami was for 16 years, it is said that for 16 years, he stayed in the womb of his mother. And Vedavyas was talking to him from outside, saying, my dear Shukadeva, please come outside. Why are you staying so much in your, why for so long years you're staying in your mother's womb? So Shukadeva Goswami, he replied that, my dear father, Lord Krishna's Maya is very powerful. I don't want to come outside. What business I have outside? I'm very happy inside my mother's womb. So Vedavyas went to Dwarka, brought Lord Krishna, and then Lord Krishna assured Shukadeva Goswami that, Shukadeva, please come out. You won't be affected by the material energy, my Maya. So after getting assurance, he came out. So Shukadeva Goswami, when he came out from his womb of his mother, he started walking straight to the forest. And Vedavyas was running behind him because Vedavyas prayed to Lord Shri Krishna to send someone who can preach the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just like Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he prayed to Jagannath to send a ray of Vishnu who can propagate the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Vedavyas also prayed to Krishna that please send someone who can spread the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Shukadeva Goswami appeared, but here Shukadeva Goswami went straight to the forest. So Vedavyas was running behind him, but he understood it is very difficult to get him. So he went back to his ashram, and then he sent 2 of his disciples with 2 verses. He wrote 2 verses. He explained them 2 verses and told them, go and recite that in the forest. So these 2 disciples of Vedavyas, they went to the forest and started singing those verses. One of them was Aho Bakiyam Sanakala Kutam Jigan Sapayadapya Sadhavi. And the other one was Varaha Pidam Natavaravapu Karanayo Karanikaram. So when Shukadeva Goswami heard about Krishna's delivering Putana and how Krishna is so beautiful, Shukadeva Goswami was attracted and he came back and he requested his father that he wants to hear the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is where Srila Vedavyas spoke the entire Srimad Bhagavatam to Shukadeva Goswami. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, the subject matter of the Srimad Bhagavatam is appealing to all the classes of persons. Now there are people who are neophytes, Kanishta Adhikaris, Madhyam Adhikaris, and Uttam Adhikaris. So Srimad Bhagavatam can give nourishment to Kanishta Adhikaris, Madhyam Adhikaris, and Uttam Adhikaris. This is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. And you need to understand that Shuka also means a parrot in Sanskrit. So when a ripened fruit is cut by the red beaks of such birds like parrot, its sweet flavor is enhanced. So the Vedic fruit, which is matured and ripe in knowledge, is spoken through the lips of Shukadeva Goswami, who is compared to the parrot of Lord Shri Krishna, Srimati Radharani. So its sweetness has enhanced more. So this is Shukadeva Goswami is been glorified by Vedas, and we are saying that we are very fortunate. So one who is very serious student of rasa, one who wants to develop a relationship with the Lord in a particular rasa, he should hear Srimad Bhagavatam. We need to understand that unless and until we absorb ourselves in Lord's activities, form and pastimes, we won't be able to develop a relationship with the Lord. And that's why Vedavyas is suggesting that we must take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is Srimad Bhagavatam is very carefully presented that a sincere person and a serious person can, by drinking this nectarian juice of Srimad Bhagavatam, one can become an associate of the Lord. So this is how Vedavyas has compiled has glorified the Supreme Lord in these 3 verses. Lord and Shukadeva Goswami in these 3 verses. Actually, these 3 verses are very big and it needs a lot of explanation. But our mood of this program is that we are going to summarize 1 chapter per session. And we understand that we want that all of you should read the purports of Srila Prabhupada throughout the week. So we are only helping you develop some, encouraging you to read Srimad Bhagavatam. So now, Srila Vedavyas, he mentions now that about Suta Goswami, and he takes us to Naimisaranya now. Naimishaya nimikshetre rishaya shaunakadaya satram swargaya lokaya sahasra samamasata. So there is a place called as Naimisaranya. Naimisaranya is in UP in India. Vrindavan is also in UP. Ayodhya is also in UP. So there is a place called as Naimisaranya. It's near Lucknow. And that is a place where the conversation between Suta Goswami and the sages of Naimisaranya, they had conversation. Now we need to understand that there were 88,000 sages who gathered there at Naimisaranya, and they had a representative, Shaunak Rishi. And Suta Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam to them. So once in a holy place of Naimisaranya, great sages headed by Shaunakji, they assembled there. Initially, before Suta Goswami came, this 88,000 rishis, they were doing some sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice and for what purpose? They were doing sacrifice for pleasure of Lord Vishnu. And for what purpose? Their purpose was to nullify the effect of Kali and to establish peace throughout the world. So that was their main purpose of doing this yagyas, doing these sacrifices. And this Naimisaranya, this place is very, very auspicious. It's a holy dham. It's a holy dham. First time Srimad Bhagavatam was recited in the assembly of Maharaj Parikshit by Shukadeva Goswami, and second time it was repeated by Suta Goswami in this assembly at Naimisaranya. It is said in Vayavya Tantra that Brahma, the engineer of the particular Brahmaji, he fixed this Naimisaranya is a center of the whole world, center of the earth. And also Brahmaji himself has performed tapasya there. That's why this place is very, very powerful. So many rishis have performed tapasya there. And that's why that place has so much potency. So, ta ekada tu munaya prahatur huta hutagnaya sat kritam sutam asinam prapassur idam adarat. So one day, after finishing, now they were doing their morning duties. I mean, they were performing the yagya and everything. And this yagya was giving them pain, because yagya means you have to put the ghee and so much smoke, so much fire comes out. And because of that, it was giving all of this 88,000 rishis a lot of pain. And it was not a small yagya kunda. Imagine 88,000 rishis were performing yagya, so that it was, certainly there are so many yagya kundas were there. Yagya kundas mean the places where they do sacrifice. And but they were feeling a lot of pain. I mean, they were getting irritated by the smoke and everything which is coming out, and they had to chant various mantras from the Vedas, and all those mantras has to be chanted in a proper meter. And if the meter goes wrong, then the whole sacrifice is a waste. So much care has to be taken at that time. But they were frustrated. And just at that time, Suta Goswami came there. Suta Goswami, as soon as Suta Goswami came there, all these rishis, all these sages, they did not continue doing this yagya. They immediately stopped it. Why? Because Suta Goswami was a Mahabhagavat, and Suta Goswami was coming from the assembly of Shukadeva Goswami, where he heard the essence of all the Vedic literatures. So immediately they stopped it. They stopped the sacrifice and they took shelter of Suta Goswami. So the great sages, all these sages, they offered Suta Goswami a very elevated seat, and they all respected him. All respected him. This elevated seat is called a Vyasa Asana. So Srila Vyasadeva is the original spiritual preceptor of all the men, and all other preceptors are considered to be his representative. If you're giving a Bhagavatam class and we are sitting on the Vyasa Asana, then we are considered as a representative of Vedavyas. Shri Vedavyas, he impregnated the message of Shri Srimad Bhagavatam to Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami he spoke to Suta Goswami. Now when Shukadeva Goswami was speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, the focus was also on Maharaj Parikshit and the focus was also on Suta Goswami. Why? Because Maharaj Parikshit was about to give up his body. After the 7 days, he was going to give up his body and attain perfection. So who is going to repeat that message? It was Suta Goswami. So Shukadeva Goswami, he was having special focus on Suta Goswami while he was narrating Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit. Now, we need to understand that if we want to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, if you want to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, you need to understand that we should be following Vedavyas and the chain of disciplic succession of the Goswamis. Goswamis means they restrain their senses and they stick to the path made by the previous acharyas. So we might not be pure devotees, but here is a chance for us that we can follow in the footsteps of our spiritual master and the previous acharyas and become a medium for them to deliver the science of Krishna consciousness. So we can also we can also deliver lectures on Srimad Bhagavatam, provided we follow our spiritual master and the previous acharyas and repeat the message as it is, not to concoct anything, not to add anything, not to subtract anything. Just become a medium for them. If you add your ideas and your concoction, then you won't be able to, you won't become a medium for the mercy of the previous acharyas to flow. So we should become a transparent medium. So the sages they said that respected Suta Goswami, you are completely free from all the vice and you are very, very well versed in scriptures, especially the Puranas, the histories. Suta Goswami has learned from Vedavyas also. Suta Goswami has heard from Shukadeva Goswami also. So he is very thorough in study of scriptures. So if we also want to become teachers or preachers in Krishna consciousness, we should need to understand that we should study our own scriptures or study our own books. Generally, what happens is that we do book distribution and we encourage others to read the books, but we don't read it ourselves. So first we should read it ourselves. We need to understand that this Srila Prabhupada ji has taken so much pain in writing this Srimad Bhagavatam. When he was traveling all over the globe, he had no time during the day. So he was taking out time in the night. And in the night, he was, with the help of his dictaphone, he was recording the translations and purports. He was writing the purports at that time. For whom has he taken so much pain? It is for us. He has taken this pain for us. So we need to understand that we need to understand that Srimad Bhagavatam, which is available to us by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada, so we should value it and we should take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and attain perfection. Srila Prabhupada is writing in the purport that a bona fide representative should be free from all these 4 kinds of vices, like illicit sex, animal slaughter, intoxication, and gambling. So we should, at least, if you're not following any other thing, but this is the most important. These 4 regulatory principles are the tapasya of Kali-yuga. And if you want to sit on the Vyasasana, become a preacher, become a medium for the acharyas to spread the glories of Krishna consciousness, and also for ourselves also to attain perfection in Krishna consciousness, one must follow these 4 principles. And then only one should dare to sit on the Vyasasana. No one should sit on the Vyasasana, one who is not following these 4 regulatory principles. Because then our acharyas, our Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master, and all those previous acharyas won't like it. And it is also very important that we thoroughly study Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day, we should thoroughly study Srimad Bhagavatam. So that not only we can help ourselves, like Srimad Bhagavatam is food for soul. You need to understand. Food is essential. It is very important for us, even though we are healthy or unhealthy. In both the situations, healthy and unhealthy, we need food. We might be healthy, we certainly need food, and if we are not healthy, we are sick, still we need food. So food is very essential for our body, nourishment for our body. Similarly, for the nourishment of our soul, Srimad Bhagavatam is essential. And here the sages, they're glorifying Suta Goswami. So we need to understand that in our Krishna consciousness, so many devotees have helped us. Like when we joined Krishna consciousness, somebody might have given us the bead bag. Somebody might have given us Bhagavad Gita. Somebody might have encouraged us to understand few important principles of Krishna consciousness. So every Vaishnava has helped us in our Krishna consciousness. So it's very important that we understand that all the other Vaishnavas are like our Guru. They are our Guru. They are our Gurus. So there is no way that we disrespect any other Vaishnavas, because everybody has helped us somewhere or other. If some Vaishnavas have given a Bhagavatam class or a Bhagavad Gita class in the temple, then he's helping us understand about Krishna. So everybody is Guru for us. For us, every Vaishnava is a Guru, and they're helping us to understand the science of Krishna consciousness. So we must respect them very much. And amongst them, the important are the Shiksha Guru and the Diksha Guru. But all the Vaishnavas are Guru. So here, Shaunakadi Rishis, they're glorifying Suta Goswami. If you want to understand the science of Krishna consciousness, we need to be humble, we need to be submissive, and in that mood, humble state of mind, we should inquire. That is a proper etiquette of inquiring from a spiritual master or a sadhu. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentation on the Brahma Sutra. Natural because Vedavyas is the author of Vedanta Sutra, and the Vedavyas is also the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and other than Vedavyas's writings, there are other 6 philosophies, systems like Gautama Rishi, Kannada, Kapila, Patanjali, Jaimini, Ashtavakra. They also have written so many subject matters. So Srila Prabhupada, he makes a very strong statement that one can sit on the Vyasasana only after he is conversant with all the systems of philosophy. So Prabhupada has explained everything in his purports. So you have to read his purports very, very nicely, and then we can understand. Then we can understand this all the 6 philosophies. Also, he has explained. He has refuted them also. So we have to read. Everything is in Prabhupada's books, but why? Because we don't read it, we don't understand it. So we need to understand that everything is in Srila Prabhupada's books. But how can we realize it? If we read it. If we don't read it, how will we realize it? So Suta Goswami is a very submissive to his spiritual masters. So Shonagadi rishis are glorifying him for his quality, that particular quality, that you are very, very submissive to your own spiritual master, and and you are endowed with special favors, a special causeless mercy from them. So if a disciple is submissive, then the spiritual master, he sees such, he can see through, and he sees such sincere souls, and then he prays to Krishna to shower causeless mercy on such a sincere student. The secret of success in the spiritual life is in satisfying the spiritual master and getting his sincere blessings. Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, he says in he has written prayers, 8 stanzas glorifying the spiritual master, Guru Ashtakam, and there he says that only by the satisfaction of the spiritual master, the personality of Godhead can be pleased. And if the spiritual master is not satisfied, then the supreme personality of Godhead also is not satisfied. It is very simple. And it doesn't mean that we have to only render service to the spiritual master. We have to disrespect other Vaishnavas. No, we have to respect each and every one. We have to see, our mood should be that everybody else is a devotee except for me. So this mood should be there in our heart. So Suta Goswami, he fulfilled all the qualifications as a disciple, and therefore he was endowed with special favors by whom? By Srila Vyasadeva and also Shukadeva Goswami. So if we are sincere, then the spiritual master helps from outside, and the Supreme Lord as Chaitya Guru, he helps from inside, and both of them, they help a conditioned soul attain prema bhakti. So we need to understand that. So there are 6 questions which the sages of Naimisaranya, they asked to Suta Goswami. The first of them is here. That the first question is, please, because you have experience of many years, please explain to us in a very easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for people in general. We need to this is the first question. There are 6 questions in this chapter, out of which this is the first question. The Acharyas and Goswamis are always absorbed in thought. Thought of what? Thought of spiritual well-being of others. And the Acharyas, therefore, they give direction for the spiritual well-being of people in general. They can see through our situation. When we go to a sadhu or a spiritual master, the spiritual master can see through us. They know our conditioning. They know what is our situation. They know our conditioning very much. But when they ask us, how are you? So what do we say? Oh, we are fine, Gurudev. We don't submit our problems to them. We don't express our obstacles in front of the spiritual master. We keep them hidden in our heart, and that is why there is all problems. If you go to a doctor and if you don't tell the problem to the doctor, how will the doctor cure us? So we have to be very transparent with our spiritual master. So Suta Goswami was a very qualified disciple, and so and that's why these sages were putting forward questions to Suta Goswami, and then they're also saying that, "Oh Suta Goswami, we are in this age of Kali, and men here, they have very short life, and they have this few major problems in this short life. We have a short life, very short life of 50-60 years, maximum 70 years. And what is our problem? We are always, people are always quarreling, people are always lazy, people are always misguided, people are unlucky, and above all, they're always disturbed. In all the situations, we're always disturbed. So if we see quarrel anywhere, then we need to understand that it is the effect of Kali-yuga. We are lazy, we are misguided. If you see, then this is all the effect of Kali-yuga. So the sages of Naimisaranya, they were very anxious to know how to get out of this effects of Kali-yuga. So that's why they were taking shelter of Suta Goswami. And so they asked a further question, now question number 2. They're saying that there are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them there are so many prescribed duties mentioned. So, O sage, please tell us, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it to us. Now we need to understand that there are so many books in this world. There are so many books in this world, but which is that literature which can give us the transcendental knowledge? We need to understand this. So Suta Goswami will glorify Srimad Bhagavatam, and he will explain how Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all the scriptures. Then they asked another question. They're saying that, "Oh Suta Goswami, we need to understand from you for what purpose that the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as a son of Vasudeva." Now, here they say that Suta janasi bhadram te bhagavan satvatam patihi devakyam vasudevasya jato yasya chikrishaya. This is what this is here. There is a word called as satvataha patihi. Sat means absolute truth, and the persons who are the servitors of the absolute truth are called Sattvatas. And the Supreme Lord who protects such pure devotees, is called Sattvata Patihi. So, so they want to know that it's the name of Krishna. Why did Krishna come in the womb of Devaki? So these were the questions by sages of Naimisaranya. And then they said that we are very eager to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His incarnation. So please explain to us those teachings which are imparted by the previous acharyas, and which will help us to uplift our consciousness. When a person who is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, person who is speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, the person who is putting forward question, everybody is benefited. Everybody is benefited. So the conditions for hearing the transcendental message are given here. The first condition is what? The audience must be very sincere and eager to hear. First condition is the first condition. And second condition, the speaker must be in the line of the disciplic succession, and at least he should be recognized by an acharya. So these are the two conditions which are given in the purport, Srila Prabhupada. In the case of Suta Goswami and the sages of Naimisaranya, all these conditions are fulfilled. Suta Goswami was in line of Vyasadeva. He was a disciple of Vyasadeva, and he heard from Shukadeva Goswami, Srimad Bhagavatam. And the sages of Naimisaranya were all sincere soul, and they were very eager, very anxious to learn the truth. If we don't have eagerness to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, or we don't have taste, we should pray to Krishna every day. We should pray to Gaurnita every day. We should pray that, "Oh Gaurnita, please help me develop unflinching faith in Srimad Bhagavatam." So these prayers one should pray. Prayers are very important. Every day one should pray. Every day one should pray. Not that when we just go to temple, offer our pranams and we just walk away. No, every day we should stand in front of the Lord and then glorify Him. First is to glorify the Supreme Lord. First is to have a darshan of the Lord. We should start having darshan of the Lord from the lotus feet, and then gradually we should go to the thighs, and gradually we should go to the lotus face of the Lord, and then we should, while having darshan, we should glorify the Lord and His activities. In Srimad Bhagavatam, if you see, there are so many prayers. So if you can remember those prayers and stand in front of the Lord, that is very nice. But if you cannot do that, whatever pastimes of the Lord you remember, then those pastimes you should sing for the Lord. Help narrate those pastimes in your heart to the Supreme Lord while taking darshan, and then you should request. When you read, then you should request the Lord, "Oh Lord, please shower your causeless mercy on me, so that I can also. I wish also to become an associate of your associate. After I give up this body, I want to become your associate. So please help me, please." So whatever problems you have, whatever obstacles you have, you should speak to the Lord. You should pray and request the Lord to help us. And then the sages are saying that apanna samskritim ghoram yannam vivasho grunan tata sadyo vimuccheta yad bibeti swayam bhayam. They're saying that living beings who are entangled in this complicated meshes of birth and death can easily be freed. We are in the cycle of birth and death. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. It's this cycle going on. But we can easily get out from this complicated situation simply by taking shelter of the Krishna's holy name, His form, His pastimes. So this is a very easy way to get out of this cycle of birth and death. It's simply by taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name of the Lord. So easy. Krishna consciousness is simple for simple people and complex for complex people. So the transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered consciously or unconsciously, or by one is forced by circumstances, it will help to obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. Yatpada sanshraya suta munaya prashamayana sadhya punantya upasrishtah swaradhunya apo anusevaya. So Shonagadi Rishis are saying that, "Oh great sages, you have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and and because of that you can sanctify all those who come in touch with you." And whereas the water, now there is a comparison made here, comparison between the sadhu and the holy rivers like Ganges. So Shonagad Rishi is saying that Suta Goswami, the sages like yourselves are so powerful because you have taken shelter of Krishna, you have captured them in your heart. So your heart is Vrindavan. Your heart has become an abode of the Lord. And because of that, what happens? Anybody who come in contact with Vrindavan, anybody who come in contact with such sadhus, one will become purified. Because such devotees have captured Krishna in their heart. But Shonagad Rishi is saying that whereas the water of Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. So pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the waters of the sacred Ganges. And one can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of Ganges water. But one can is sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. Therefore, it is very important that we take shelter of the Lord by taking shelter of His pure devotees. Anyone, therefore, who takes shelter of the lotus feet of pure devotee by accepting a pure devotee as a spiritual master can at once be purified. So that's why we honor our spiritual master and sadhus equally with the Supreme Lord. Why? Because they are engaged in the confidential service of the Supreme Lord. This is said in the Sri Radhika Madhava Yora Para Madhurya Lila Guna Rupananma Pratikshana Swadana Lulupasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvinda. Pratikshana, at every time, at all the time, they are absorbed. Spiritual master is absorbed in serving Krishna. So such pure devotees are also called as wise lords or the Sevaka Bhagavan. So the sincere disciples of a pure devotee considers him as as equal with the Lord, but the pure devotee always considers himself as a humble servant of the Lord. It is said that Yaddepi Amar Guru Chaitanya Das Tathapi Janiyami Tahara Prakash. And then Shonakadrishis are saying that those people who want to deliver themselves in this age of Kali, then those who are eager, those who want eager to come out of the cycle of this birth and death, they want to become an associate of the Lord, then such people will definitely want to hear about the Lord's glories. Who will not be interested? One who understands the glories of the Lord and his devotees, and here the one who understands the glories of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, who will not be interested in that? So we need to understand that the easiest way of attaining perfection is taking shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and discussing it. The age of Kali is the most condemned age. Why? Because of its quarrelsome features. And Kali-yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is a great fight at the slightest misunderstanding. So those who are engaged in devotional service of the Lord and who are without any desire of self aggrandizement and who are free from the effects of the fruity actions and dry philosophical speculations are capable of getting out of this complicated age. In simple words, if I put, one should not take shelter of Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda or any other process. One should simply take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam on devotional service, and one can easily attain perfection with the help of that. So the fourth question which Shonak Rishis they're asking, and all these questions will be answered gradually in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The fourth question is asking that his transcendental acts, the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities, his pastimes are magnificent and gracious. And the great sages like Narada, they always sing of them. And so they're requesting that please therefore speak to us about Lord Krishna's adventures, his form, his pastimes, his various incarnations. They want to hear about this. Now, you need to understand that the Supreme Lord is never inactive. Many less intelligent people, they think that Supreme Lord has no business, no work. He's always in. So they're less intelligent people. But the devotees, they understand from Srimad Bhagavatam that this work, Lord's pastimes are very magnanimous, very magnificent. And the great liberated souls, if you see the life of the great liberated souls like Narad Muni, Vyasdev, Valmiki, Devala, Sita, Madhavacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramanacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimarkacharya, Sridhara Swami, Vishnacharya Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan, Bhakti Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, what were they doing? They're all self-realized soul, but what were they doing? They were all the time broadcasting the glories of the Lord. They were always absorbed themselves in hearing about the Lord, reading about the Lord, and broadcasting the glories of the Lord. So that was their business. So if we also want to become like them, then we should also do the same thing. Take shelter of the holy name and take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Supreme Lord, when he comes down to this material world, his main business is to attract the conditioned souls towards them. But now the Supreme Lord is not there. He has disappeared 5,000 years back. But Srimad Bhagavatam is there. When Lord disappeared from this planet, he appeared in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Suta Goswami says this. Kalo nashtam rishadesha purana arko adunoditaha. And Srimad Bhagavatam's business is the same. To attract the conditioned souls. And who does that? The devotees of the Lord, they glorify Srimad Bhagavatam and attract the conditioned souls towards Krishna. So Srimad Bhagavatam has come for that purpose only. The mission of the Lord is still continued. The mission of the Lord is to attract the conditioned souls towards Him. So then Shaunakadi Rishis, they ask the questions that, please, we want to know not only about Krishna but also about Lord Krishna's various multi-incarnations. So this is what they're inquiring. And then they say, Vayam tu na vitrupyam uttama shloka vikrame yasrunvatam rasajnanam swadu pade pade. And they are saying that we will never be tired of hearing this transcendental pastimes of the Lord, because this Lord is called as Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka means one who is glorified with choicest verses. And those who have developed taste for hearing about this transcendental relationship will relish hearing his pastimes at every moment. Those who have got this taste for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, they will not do any other thing other than hearing. At every moment, they would like to taste this. Either they hear, either they read, or they will like to speak about the glories of the Lord at all the time. So this is a request that Shaunakadi Rishis, they were all eager to hear about Lord's activities. We need to understand there is a great difference between the mundane stories, fiction, and or histories, and Srimad Bhagavatam. So this mundane stories, this fiction and histories of they cannot be compared with transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The histories of the histories, if you want to read the Ramayana, Mahabharata, they are there, but they are transcendental. But when talking about histories of which we learn in our school and colleges, though we cannot compare those histories or some mundane stories or some fiction with the pastimes of the Lord. You need to understand that. When we talk about Srimad Bhagavatam, it is transcendental subject matter. So Lord Krishna, this Shaunakadi Rishi is saying that Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balram, he played like an ordinary human being. Although Lord Krishna is Supreme Lord, but to bewilder everyone, they behaved like an ordinary man. They became like an ordinary person. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, his janma, karma are all transcendental. All birth and activities are all transcendental. Although they might look ordinary for people who have no vision, but they are all on the transcendental platform. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the transcendental nature of nature of the Lord is described in the first 9 cantos. In the 10th canto, the specific pastimes are taken up. So if you read the 10th canto very carefully, then we understand the superhuman pastimes of the Supreme Lord, of lifting up Govardhan Hill, showing all the whole universe to his mother. So these were all the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. And Shaunakadi Rishis, they were saying that, knowing well that this age of Kali is already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear from you at a great length. It is not that we want to hear for a very short time. No, we want to hear in detail, very much detail. We want each and every detail we want to hear from you. So we need to understand that our lifespan is very small in this age of Kali. And so we have to invest majority of our time for hearing and chanting of the holy name of the Lord, his pastimes and his activities. So the sages of Naimisaranya, they're requesting Suta Goswami to elaborately describe, because they are having ample of time. Our problem is we have no time. But even for us, we have, even though we might have no time, but we should still take out some time and start hearing, reading and speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has preached this system of Bhagavad Dharma. He recommended that all of those devotees should understand this message and should broadcast this message of Shri Krishna. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us instruction to become a spiritual master, become a guru. And then they're saying, what they're saying, Shonagadi Rishi, they're saying that we are very fortunate that we have met your goodness. Suta Goswami, we were very fortunate. Now we accept you as a captain of our ship. Now you help us cross this difficult ocean of Kali. Kali-yuga is very difficult. All the time, Kali-yuga is an agent of Maya. And he's trying to influence all of us and trying to keep us engaged in so-called activities other than Krishna consciousness. So Kali-yuga is very, very powerful and he's trying his best. And then the last question which they ask is Bruhi Yogeshware Krishna Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashtam Adnopete Dharma Ka Sharanam Gataha. The sixth question they ask is, Oh Suta Goswami, please explain that. Now the Lord has departed to his own abode. So where has Dharma taken shelter? So all these questions Suta Goswami has asked from Shonagadi Rishi inquired from Suta Goswami. So this is how we have summarized the first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam in last 1 hour. I hope you have gotten, at least you have received some overview of it. So we request all of you to please read the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam within the next 6 days we have. So 3 to 4 verses per day, and this way you can read the entire chapter with purpose. So we can take 1 or 2 questions because there are 25 of you. So we can take 1 or 2 questions. So if there are any questions, you can ask now. You can raise your hand first. There is an option of raising your hand also, or you can directly start speaking. Chaitanya Bhagavat Prabhu, you have any questions? Shamakunda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Did you mention that Gurvastaka was written by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mataji. Any other questions? Okay, if you have if you have any questions, then you can write in the group, WhatsApp group, and then we will answer that. Okay, that is another way. And also I'm going to provide you the notes, my personal notes of this chapter with all of you in the group itself. So not in the group, but when I'll post the YouTube video, and then in the description I'll post that notes link to the notes. So if you have to give the classes on this subject matter, then you can take help of these notes. We have a program called as we have a program called as Bhagavad Charcha, which is which can be started for your congregation. It's like an Bhakti Vriksha, but exclusively for Srimad Bhagavatam. And in that, it's for a congregation. And for the congregation, there is some reading, there is classes, there is group discussions. So you can go to our website and download that. It's a free course, and you can start for your congregation. And if you want to become teachers for that, then this notes will help you. This notes will help you in giving classes. Okay, thank you very much. I look forward for your questions, and also I wish you all the best for your studies for the next week. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.